It's Wednesday, May 27th, and time for your Barbados Today morning news update. Thousands of public servants stand to earn substantial sums of money over the next 4 years through the so-called National Meeting Turn, a government paper obtained by Barbados Today has revealed. The money from the plan is to divert between 7 and 20% of public servants' paychecks into government bonds through a compulsory scheme. Our Kareem Smith has the details.
100 million of the savings is expected to be pumped into capital works projects, providing temporary work for thousands of private sector workers who lost their jobs amid the shutdown. The proposal, first described as forced saving, has sparked fierce national debate. Some have expressed doubt about the potential benefits, while others are willing to give it a chance. While it is expected that every public worker who earns more than $36,000 per year will be compelled to join the scheme, any employee who is unable to afford the income drop can opt to immediately cash in the bonds. Some key features of the plan contained in the white paper include that none of the 11,000 employees earning less than $36,000 per year will be enrolled in the scheme unless he or she volunteers. Meanwhile, public officers earning between $36,000 and $50,000 will receive between 7% and 10% of their salary in bonds. Those earning between $50,000 and $100,000 will receive between 12% and 15% in bonds, while those earning over $100,000 will get 15% and 20% of their salary in bonds. While the bonds will be lodged in the Central Bank of Barbados, they will be immediately tradable to any other Barbadian interested in purchasing. Government ministers and members of Parliament will be included in the scheme. Kareem Smith for Barbados Today.
An impassioned plea by an activist for assistance on behalf of a struggling single mother and her 4 children has been answered. Less than 24 hours after social media personality Jordan English highlighted the family's plight, businessman Anderson Cherry has pledged to do whatever it takes to improve their living conditions.
And after seeing the place, we made a decision that Jose some of our customers will undertake the renovations of the property. And also, we also still welcome donations from corporate Barbados because there's a lot to do. So what we're doing is I call the Crane Hotel and I arrange a week stay for them. So when we called, Mr. Doyle was happy to also assist with the stay at the Crane. So they'll be going off to the Crane for a week, and we will clean the entire house, and we build the house within 7 days.
Okay.
And I met with the lady in the house, and she gave me a couple of ideas and things that she would love to see in the house. And we can be reaching out to corporate Barbados to see how we can get donations on some of this stuff.
Meanwhile, the plight of 2 elderly brothers at Holders Hill St. James is also being highlighted. 72-year-old Carl Marshall, who is caring for his 70-year-old disabled brother Frank, says they are in dire need of assistance. He spoke with a Barbados Today team about their living conditions, which they have had to endure over several years.
The front house get blown down with the electric meters and what's not, you know. So you had to buy back the electric meters and put it to the front there. That cost me about $100 there to put back. No help. The problem is that if I had the money, I would have my house up already, you know. But money ain't coming in, you see. Money coming in is a pension. I had to put some money in the bank there for my brother, everything. If it get worse, you know. A couple of dollars there you have to spend there, pay bills. I got to pay a guy about $90 to $100 every 3 months for the light system there. I got to pay for the light. I got to pay for the garbage storage bill there. Yeah. When money done, when you get the money done, you know.
Barely enough to live. Barely enough to eat when it's finished.
You can't tell nobody now because everybody will say they got money, but I ain't really had the money. If I had money, my place would be finished, you know. Uh, I deal with the people there now. The lady said she would come back, we take pictures and what's not.
Agriculture Minister Indawe appears to be unaffected by comments leveled against him by his former ally Anthony Wood. Asked to comment about a reported rift between the two, which spilled into the public domain recently, the minister instead declared that his energy is focused on assisting hundreds of residents in his St. Philip South constituency struggling to make ends meet amidst the COVID-19 crisis.
My focus is on the people of the Philip South. And from the time the COVID-19 started, I have been giving out care packages to people who became unemployed. There are several people in the tourism sector that you are well aware are without work today simply because there's no tourists coming to Barbados. The ports are closed. People are unemployed, okay? Their concerns and their fears are real. And I am focused with my team to stay with my people. And at every step of the way, I am prepared to do whatever I can in my power to make sure I give them the assistance they need.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, health authorities in Trinidad and Tobago are reportedly negotiating with cruise ship agents to use vessels to quarantine returning nationals. It comes as Health Minister Terence Dial Singh spoke about a lack of adequate bed space in the country to accommodate the numbers coming off vessels. More in this report from TV6 News.
Hospital practice will not allow the full use of the 400 remaining convalescent bed space. Instead, 75% is recommended for use.
Out of that 304, we already have 87 occupied. So that's why I said it is difficult to bring in 500 persons at the same time on land.
That's where the suggestion to use cruise ships for quarantining was birthed.
When we have large numbers by the hundreds that you want to quarantine, we are in fact looking, and we threw out the option to the Minister of National Security, which he is addressing with the agents for these ships, that we simply may not have enough land-based facilities to quarantine 300, 400, 500.
He says the National Security Minister would be the one working with onboard medics to attend to the statuses of nationals. But this idea seems to contradict Chief Medical Officer Dr. Roshan Parasram's initial advice that cruise ships present fertile ground for the spread of infectious diseases.
And finally, Director of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne, says Latin America has surpassed Europe and the United States in the daily number of reported COVID-19 infections, putting the region at the center of the global outbreak. And she's told the press briefing PAHO was particularly concerned about Brazil.
In South America, we are particularly concerned that the number of new cases reported last week in Brazil was the highest for a 7-day period since the outbreak began. Both Peru and Chile are also reporting a high incidence, a sign that transmission is still accelerating in these countries. All of the alarms that we've sounded, the solidarity that we've called for, and the guidance that we've issued over the past 3 months, all of this was to prepare us for this time. For most countries in the Americas, Now is not the time to relax restrictions or scale back preventive strategies. Now is the time to stay strong, to remain vigilant, and to aggressively implement proven public health measures.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.